What's up, my people? It is another 10 under 10 podcast here for DFS Army. We talk about my 10 favorite plays on DraftKings, 10 favorite plays on FanDuel, all projecting to be under 10% owned on a super small slate. So it's kind of hard to find some value this week, but I think we did it. I think we got some guys, especially at the QB spot, maybe some wide receivers that I'm really high on this week, even maybe a few running backs. And we are going to get into it because if you are like me, it is the Christmas season. You got shopping to do, you got wrapping to do. You just got to be around your kids more, maybe. I don't know, but hey, it's a busy time of year. We got to make some lineups. We got to win some money. Maybe get you a little extra green for those Christmas gifts. So, again, 10 plays, all projecting to be under 10% owned. We're going to start with QBs on DraftKings this week. And for me, it actually really starts with Joe Burrow. Like, this is a bounce back game. He's acting like a wide receiver in his pressers. He's cryptic. He's like, maybe he's going to retire. We don't know what's going on. Like, honestly, it's kind of like Stephon Diggs a little bit here. But yeah, I think this is a great spot for him to bounce back against a Miami team that is reeling. They're starting Quinn Ewers this week, who they apparently think is better than Tua Tagovailoa. I don't disagree. He's going to have all of his weapons available here. If Higgins is fully cleared, he's going to be the preferred option here, but obviously Chase is viable as well too. I'm kind of shocked that this ownership is still as low as it is. I was, kind of looking at it earlier this week and thought, man, I really think, there's a chance that he gets over 10% owned. Sorry, I'm just checking. Higgins, full participant. He's going to be back. All right. Yeah. So T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, love those two together. Don't sleep on Chase either. But yeah, run it. You want to run Achane back? I don't hate it. The price is a little high for me. But yeah, we love some Joey B this week. I think that the Bengals stack is going to smash. Then, clearly, right, you can see Minnesota in the background. I am a Vikings fan, but there is no rose-colored glasses here, people. JJ McCarthy looks legit. He looks legit, at least against bad defenses. And he gets another one this week in the New York Giants. So he's torched the Commanders, put up good scores. Not torched, put up good scores against the Commanders, good scores against the Cowboys, and now he gets even one of the worst, a defense that's even worse in the Giants. If he rushes it like he has been and scores a touchdown, he is going to absolutely destroy this price tag. Again, another guy that I think should easily be over 10% owned, especially at 4,900. Smash spot. Now, who do you pair him with? That's the question, right? Obviously, people talk about Justin Jefferson, who I really like. We'll talk a little bit more about Jalen Naylor and Jordan Addison here in a bit, but I think all three are viable options. You can even go TJ Hawkinson. All right. So I love me some JJ McCarthy. Over here, let's talk about some running backs now. Quinton Judkins. He's had a tough couple of weeks, right? But with the way Shedeur looked last week, I think we see them get back to the running game here. If we can get a little bit more work in the pass game, which we've seen the last couple of weeks, 4 targets last game, I think that gives them a decent floor here. The team total is obviously very low, but great spot against Buffalo, who can't stop anyone. And we've seen Judkins get 20 plus touches before. So again, just banking on a volume and defense, or a volume plus like the spot for him going up against a pretty poor run defense. All of the New Orleans Saints running backs are hurt. So we get Audric Estime, $5,000, which is pretty cheap for a guy that's likely going to get the majority of the carries here. I really like him on DraftKings because of the pass game work that he was getting last week. The only concern that you maybe have here is, do they give Taysom Hill the ball a bunch? But I don't. It's Estime. There's obviously, they're going to have other guys that potentially get the ball here, but I really like the upside with Estime. Our projections are almost at 9. I think that's even a little low to here. George Pickens, wide receivers, right? We're talking about some wide receivers now. Again, looking for guys in good spots that maybe have the potential to go off and haven't recently, right? So that would be George Pickens for me, 7,300. Fairly expensive, and honestly, the spot against the Chargers isn't good, but Dak is going to throw it a ton. They are much better when Pickens is involved. They haven't got him involved last week and last couple of weeks, and look what's happened. It's been great in tough matchups against tough cornerbacks this year. I expect him to crush. I think he's got that low-owned 2 TD, 100-yard upside here. Mike Evans, fully healthy, came back 12 targets last week after dealing with collarbone injury. Great spot against the Carolina Panthers. The ownership is climbing up there a little bit, 8%. I don't know that it gets over 10%, but I really like Evans this week. The Clown Boys secondary is so bad. McConkey, who has been sort of quiet the last couple of weeks, we're going to be able to get him at low ownership here. Awesome spot. DFSA grade 79.03, which is the same as George Pickens, but $1,200 cheaper, 4.62% owned, 23-point total, which is very solid. Yeah, we're big fans of Vlad McConkey this week. And then Jalen Naylor, guys, is far too cheap. Wide receiver 3 for the Vikings, but they are absolutely looking his way, especially on deep balls. All right. So really high on Naylor. I think that he caught a touchdown last week. Gets a terrible Giants secondary. At 3,500, you can afford a lot of other studs. So especially in a JJ McCarthy stack, right? I don't even mind going Addison Naylor or Justin Jefferson Naylor and really saying, hey, they're gonna throw the ball a ton here against the Giants. They got nothing to lose. I always do this. They got nothing to lose, right? So I'm very, very high on my guy Jalen Naylor here at 3,500. If my sheet ever loads back up, we'll talk about Theo Johnson, the New York Giants tight end. Jackson Dart back last week looked okay. Should be good to go here again. And Theo Johnson is one of his only healthy receivers, essentially, right? As the tight end, going up against Minnesota, right? Who is a very good defense. I actually like them to potentially put up a decent score here. But yeah, projections 9 points. Like, he rumbled for a 42-yard gain. Guy can get in the end zone. Like him quite a bit. We saw Gardner Minshew come out and immediately turn the ball over for Patrick Mahomes last week. This Titans defense isn't good by any means, but again, no Mahomes, no Rice. Take the maybe out of there. There's no maybe. Rashee Rice has been ruled out because he can't clear concussion protocol. We like the Titans quite a bit here. Switching gears now, talking about FanDuel, right? We already talked about JJ McCarthy. He's an elite play on FanDuel as well. But let's talk about another former Vikings quarterback, Kirk Cousins. 48-point total. Still might get Drake London back, going up against Arizona, who loves to throw the ball, which means that their games last a very long time. And we can see, lots of pass attempts here from both teams. 44 pass attempts last week, connected on 31 for 373 yards for my boy Kirky Cousins. Kirk Chains, pair with Mooney, pair with London. Pitts was the guy last week who can go there again. I think this game actually has sneaky shootout potential and goes over the 40-point total. But even if it doesn't, this is a great spot for Kirk Cousins at 2.92% ownership, 6,700. Absolutely. Rico Dowdle took back the lead role for Chubb last week. We get a run funnel in the Bucks. I think that he's just a multiple touchdown type of guy that could get there for you. Amari Hampton is going to slowly get back to who Amari Hampton was before the injury. We saw it last week with Vidal get a little bit less carries. Again, when his body's 100%, it's a great spot. He's going to be elite again. The Dallas Cowboys can't stop anybody. We love ourselves some Amari Hampton. This is the time to jump on before he's like 20% owned next week after he smashes. Nico Collins, guy that was listed here last week, again, gets to go up against the Raiders, who just got 3 touchdown passes thrown on them by Jalen Hurts and absolutely got torched. We're going back to the well with Collins. Caught a touchdown pass last week. He's always live for 100 yards. I think that Stroud looks great. We are on him. We talked about T. Higgins with Joe Burrow, but he is a standalone play on both sides as well. Missed last week with a concussion. He's going to practice. He's an elite value at 7,500. He should be about $500 more. Addison, I love the Vikings back attack here, but Addison has been one of JJ McCarthy's favorite targets, really high on Addison, and favorite targets in the red zone too. So really think that Addison has touchdown upside here. And look at that, DBP 30 and 5,900 on FanDuel is far too cheap, right? We talked about Theo Johnson. Obviously, we like Theo again here on FanDuel. Much better with Dart under center, right? What do we got? 4.5% owned. Yeah, not bad, right? 20-point total is not terrible. And then the Vikings D. We know that Jackson Dart can turn the ball over, and if he gets hurt, which seems to be the case every couple of games with him, I think they have some real upside. I think that they have turnover potential, especially with their pass rush. We could see a couple of fumbles. We could see some sacks. Maybe a strip sack. Who knows? Oh, we didn't even talk about Ryan Flournoy. Sorry. Super cheap Ryan Flournoy. It continues to be involved in this offense. 5,500, he is going to play regardless here. He's healthy, but CeeDee Lamb is dealing with a little bit of an illness. I think he was back at practice today. He's going to play, but it might be limited. Regardless, Flournoy we've seen him smash before and win somebody a GPP, and I think this is another good spot with a 49-point game total. Might be the game of the week between Dallas and Los Angeles Chargers. This could be the spot for Ryan Flournoy to smash again. So look at me, under 10 minutes. Once again, 10 under 10 under 10. That is how you do it. Cheers, everybody. Have a great week.